Thanks for joining me once again, ladies and gentlemen. This is Just the Worst Podcast, episode number 12, to be perfectly precise, and I'm your host, as usual, Billy Donnelly, who you can find at joeblow.com. This is Infamous, and of course, right here at Just the Worst Podcast. So I want to take the time to thank you for clicking download or streaming, however it is you're listening to the show right now, as we're going to get off and running with a lot of big news coming out of the holiday. So happy Thanksgiving. Hope it was a good one. Good turkey day spent with family and friends. And now that we're back to the grind, hope you were able to be thankful and appreciative of the time you got to spend with your loved ones, those that you enjoy spending time with. Maybe those that you don't spending time with, but you just are forced to be around late in November on a yearly basis. So either way, I hope you had a good holiday and maybe got your shopping done for the holidays. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, whatever Tuesday, as long as you got some stuff done over the weekend, got some things accomplished. Well, good for you. So we're going to jump into it as we usually do. Make sure we talk about all the latest in Hollywood and the movie industry and put it into context for you. Put my spin on it, put my opinion into it, and maybe help inform some of your discussion a little bit, some of your debate. And I guess the obvious place to kind of start off, this show is coming to you a little bit later than usual. We like to try and hit this thing online on Wednesday, and have you have it for the rest of the week and into next week. But usually, so usually I try to make sure we have it for you early on Wednesday, no later than like early afternoon. But in this instance, coming out of the holiday with not really much circulating, not really much taking hold and shaping the conversation, coming out of Thanksgiving, there was one real big piece that was starting to sit there, and that was going to be the release of a new Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice trailer. Now, Monday night, during the mid-season finale of Gotham, we got a teaser to the trailer, which is, the worst thing I think that is a part of the Hollywood marketing machine is this thing that we need to be teased for the teaser. And once again, it's just another way for them to elbow into kind of the coverage cycle by grabbing another day out of it. So during that, we get 15 seconds, which is just kind of this confrontation, this interaction between Batman and Superman, where Superman unmasks Batman, reveals him to be Bruce Wayne while he's in some sort of captivity. So it's just a weird thing, kind of a weird sequence with especially considering that there was no context around it. Just kind of was sitting there and not a lot to make of it. But the promise was that on Wednesday night, during Jimmy Kimmel, that's when they would release a full-blown trailer for Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. And last night, that's what we got. 3 whole minutes. 3 minutes exactly of a new trailer with a lot of new stuff in it that we hadn't seen before, that we hadn't seen in the IMAX trailer, that we hadn't seen in the Comic-Con trailer. So a lot of new stuff coming out. And look, let me be honest here. The reaction to the trailer has not been very kind. It's funny when something like this happens because everybody, if it doesn't live up to expectations, if it doesn't blow them away, sorry about that, if it doesn't blow people away, then people go into their fanboy shells and turn into Chicken Little with the sky falling. And how awful this is going to be, and how horrible, and the movie's ruined, and all this other shit that is just, it's just hyperbole. It is the most extreme form of reaction, the most extreme form of knee-jerk reaction, especially for a film that isn't coming out for another 4.5 months. Almost 5 months, I think. That's January to February, March. It's like 4 months from where we are now, almost. So you see people respond to these trailers, and once again, they are trailers. And I understand that there are things that you may not like, things that may not do it for you, things that kind of have you scratching your head and say, I don't know about that. But the thing about it is, in most cases, those very same people who are quote-unquote concerned are going to go see the movie anyway. And at this point, all of this concern, what it does is it puts you in a negative mindset going into the movie. It sets you up going in with this prove me wrong mentality, which is the worst possible way you could go into a movie. Sitting in front of a movie, expecting disappointment, expecting something less than, expecting something that you may not like by the end, and throwing down the gauntlet on the screen and saying, prove me wrong, that you're better than that, is the wrong attitude. You're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting the movie up for failure before you've even started. If you've paid money to go watch a movie of your choosing, when you sit down in front of that movie, you should be saying to yourself, I hope this is good. Not, I expect this to be less than, prove me wrong. Because think about it. What other experiences do you have in your life where you go in expecting the worst? And I don't mean experiences where, you automatically have a negative perception of where things. I'm talking about experiences that you would hope to enjoy. When you sit down to eat and you order a steak or a burger or a nice plate of pasta, you don't look at the plate and say, I think you're going to taste like shit. Prove me wrong. That's not why you ordered it. You ordered it because you thought it was going to taste good. It looked good on the menu. The description was tasty. Made your mouth water. Sounded delicious. You get it? It's in front of you. It looks good. Smells good. This is what I ordered. This is what I want. And as a result, you eat it, and you hope it tastes good. You hope it lives up to your expectations. You hope it's satisfying. You hope it's delicious. You hope it's filling. You don't do that with a movie for some reason, though. You look at it and you go, I don't know if I like this. I'm going to see it anyway now, and now I'm already putting it behind the 8 ball, and I hope it proves me wrong. Don't do that. Don't go into this defensive, protective position as a way to try and shield yourself from any sort of hurt. Oh, well, it sucked, but I knew it was going to suck going in, so I'm not as hurt. It's not how you fall in love with the movie, man. And isn't that really the hope? Isn't that really what we want? Is to go into a movie and fall in love with it? Isn't that the goal? Isn't that why we watch movies? Is to fall in love with the experience, with the characters, with the story, and hope to walk away saying, damn, that was so fucking good. I'll watch the shit out of this movie again. Isn't that what you want? That's what I want. That's what I want when I go see a movie. I want to love this fucking movie. Every time. Doesn't matter what it is. I hope that I'm going to get the best possible version of that movie every time. And that it's going to speak to me. And that it's going to connect to me. And that I am going to get enjoyment, entertainment out of it. Maybe it's thought-provoking. Maybe it's not an entertainment movie. Maybe it's something more serious. But it at least makes me think. It challenges me. I get something out of it. Watching a movie where you're not getting anything out of it, you're just looking at it through squinty eyes and gritted teeth and folded arms. Like, fuck you, motherfucker. Prove me you're better. It's a horrible way to go into a movie. You gotta throw yourself into it, man. It's like falling in love with a woman or a man or whatever. Your job, a dog, a cat, whatever. The only way to do it is to go right in. Abandon all caution. And sometimes it'll work out well for you. Sometimes it's not. But the only way to know is to thrust yourself into it. Give yourself over to the experience completely and hope for the best. I wouldn't even say expect the worst, because sometimes people are already expecting the worst. What I hear in the conversation about Batman v Superman based off of this latest trailer is already expecting the worst. People talking about how the film's been ruined for them already. People talking about how they're worried or they're concerned. You want to be worried or concerned? People got shot in California yesterday. That's something to be worried or concerned about. A Batman Superman movie? Let's keep this in perspective a little bit. It's just a movie. It's a motion picture. Something that's there to take your mind off of life's problems for a few hours. It's not the end of the world. And if it doesn't look good, don't go see it. Exert some willpower and don't go see it. Say, this doesn't look like it's for me. I don't think I'm going to get anything out of this. I'm not going to go. You've done it before. Fantastic Four did that. You stayed away from the Fantastic Four. You said, nope. Not for me. Not going to go. Granted, you bitched about it all around, but you still didn't go. You made the choice. I'm not going to go. Batman v Superman does the same thing for you. Don't go. Just don't go. Just stay away from it and say, not for me. Not going to go. Do I think there are problems with the trailer? Sure. It's not a perfect trailer by any means. In fact, I would venture to say that it's not a very good trailer. For reasons that I'll get into in just a moment. But I think there's a difference between constructive criticism, looking at something and saying, this didn't work for me and this is why, than running around covering your head talking about how the sky is falling. It's not the end of the world. It's just a trailer. It's gonna be okay. I'm here to give you a hug and talk you off the ledge a little bit and let you know it's gonna be alright. At least here. I mean, I don't know about the rest of the world. I'm just saying here, in this instance, it'll be alright. It'll be okay. You want to get into the problems of the trailer? Let's get into the problems of the trailer. I got no problem with that. I came away from this trailer saying, what a strange way to build excitement for this movie. Because of the way it's kind of cut. And what it shows. Now, first off, I would recommend checking out, there's a great article by Scott Mendelson over at Forbes.com about the trailer's release to begin with, which is why would Warner Brothers take this and premiere it on an ABC talk show owned by Disney, who of course owns Marvel, rather than stick it somewhere else that might benefit the rest of their shows. The teaser was with the Gotham mid-season finale, but I don't know why you would put the teaser there. Why not just put the whole thing out there? Why not find an episode of Supergirl? Put it on that. Why not take one of your CW shows that could use the bump? Stick it there. Why would you put it on ABC for Jimmy Kimmel? Now I'm going to explain to you why, my perspective on why, in just a few moments as we move through a couple of things, as far as the trailer is concerned. But I would recommend reading Scott Mendelson's piece over at Forbes.com. It's a pretty good one. So now let's remember, this movie comes out in March. It is now December. Right? It's December? It's December? Yeah, now we're in December. The beginning of December. This is March 25th. So we got like almost 4 months still to go. So we're still a good ways away, while at the same time, it'll be on us in a second. And so we have this 3-minute trailer that, for me, the main problem is that it feels like it shows the whole movie. In condensed 3-minute fashion. Because you're seeing more of Lex Luthor. You're seeing more interaction between Batman and Superman and Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent. You have another appearance by Wonder Woman, which is fine. Because we know that she's in it. We've already seen her before. That's nothing too new. But now we're also getting the reveal of Doomsday being in the film. Which I can't understand why you would give that to us now. I mean, you can watch this film. I mean, you can watch it. It's like a short, like a 3-minute short. It's like if you made Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice as a short, and it was only 3 minutes. This is what it would look like, because you could follow the trailer from beginning to end and get a real sense that you have witnessed all 3 acts of the film if you're subscribing to the 3-act structure. You see kind of what leads up to this tension between Batman versus Superman. You see them fight. Then you also see where they would pivot away from fighting, dealing with a greater threat of doomsday motivated by Lex Luthor. You see it all. And for a film this big, I don't understand why you would give that all away. You know, like let's look recently at some other trailers that had spectacle going for them, but have chosen not to give it all the way to you beforehand. You know, one of the better trailers that we've seen in recent months would be the trailer for Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. The trailer culminates with Tom Cruise hanging on to a plane as it takes flight. And yet, watching that, you're amazed. How could they give this away to us? But when you go to the film, that's the first 5 minutes. They have protected you from knowing too much about what's going to follow after. They have put all of this hype into this gigantic stunt, and yet it barely scratches the surface of the movie. You look at trailers for Star Wars The Force Awakens, which opens in a couple of weeks, and yet we still know very little about it. We know enough, or we've seen enough, to get the excitement going, to get the enthusiasm brewing in our gut. But not too much where when we go and sit down to watch the movie, we feel like we've seen it already. Captain America Civil War operates in a similar way. We get the basics, and that's for the first trailer. That movie comes out in May, so only a month and change after Dawn of Justice, but it's still a trailer that's meant to whet your appetite, to make you want to pay money to buy a ticket to see the final product. It hides so much. And when you look at the trailer for Captain America Civil War, you get the feeling that even though it's shown you some sizable pieces, perhaps, that you've barely seen the rest of the movie. There's no air of mystery to Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice right now, because you feel like you've seen the whole thing. Oh, sure, there may be little things here and there inside, contained within, that might keep you on your toes, or, might help fill out the journey. But looking at this trailer, you feel like you've gotten the basics down. You've gotten the framework down. And I don't know that that's the right way to sell the movie. Now, here's where Here's what I think they were going for. Here's why I think you show this trailer on Kimmel. Here's why I think it's cut the way it is and shown the way it is with everything out on Front Street. This trailer's not meant to sell me on the movie. If you're listening to this podcast, it's probably not meant to sell you on the movie. It's meant to sell the average mainstream moviegoer who wants to throw down $15 for a few hours of escapism to see the latest big budget blockbuster that Hollywood has to offer. The people that are like, Transformers looks amazing, I'm going to go see the next one. Or, oh, this Adam Sandler movie looks funny. Or what's The Rock in now? Now, I'm not knocking people who like those movies. They like what they like and they're entertained by them. But there's a formula to selling those films to people to get them coming back. And I think this trailer plays to the cheap seats. I think Warner Brothers and DC Entertainment are a little bit apprehensive about this film, even with Batman and Superman fighting each other in the title, that they felt they couldn't rely just on the curiosity of that and needed to double down on bringing in the casual viewer. And the casual viewer doesn't go to the movies all the time. The casual viewer goes to a couple movies a year. The casual viewer is careful about spending money on a movie that they don't know too much about. So they want to know what they're getting. They want to see everything. They want to know their money's being put to good use. And I think that's why this trailer is cut this way, and that's who it speaks to. That's why this trailer's so strange. Tonally, it's all over the place. You know, I think people were turned off by Man of Steel. A lot of people were turned off by Man of Steel. I think they were turned off by the tone of it. I think it was too serious for them. It wasn't the fun Superman movie that they were hoping for or expecting, even though no one was ever given any indication that was the kind of movie they were going to get. And I think as a result, the tone of this trailer is made to be slightly goofier, a little bit lighter. Have people walking into Dawn of Justice thinking, this might be more fun than that other movie. And while Man of Steel did okay, did fine by your average blockbuster standards, it underperformed for Warner Brothers. They thought this thing was going to be a mega hit, a monstrous movie, and it never got there. It was incredibly divisive. There are a lot of people who really don't like that movie. That's why we have Batman v Superman instead of Man of Steel 2. Because they were like, let's throw Batman in there. And while I think Batman is a strange remedy for fixing these types of problems, I think they are not confident that Batman can be the only thing to fix the direction that they want to go in, to lay the groundwork. So they want people coming in here expecting something a little funner, a little more fun, more exciting, thrilling, funnier. And while fanboys are climbing up on the ledge, talking about how concerned they are, I don't think that the tone of this trailer is indicative of the movie as a whole. I think it's still going to be incredibly serious. Are there lighter moments in the trailer? Absolutely. Is Eisenberg's portrayal of Lex Luthor a little strange in the trailer opening? Sure. Do I think that's the way it's going to be the entire film? Nope. Not one bit. I think when the finished film is out there for us to see, it'll go back to being more serious, but there will be some lighter elements introduced, which is something that Man of Steel had zero of. So kind of these snarky interactions between Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent, or Batman and Superman, I think they'll be in there. I think looking at Eisenberg's Lex Luthor and complaining that he's not Gene Hackman or anyone else, I think that's folly. It's going to be his own thing. That's the thing. Everyone's looking at this film right now, or looking at this trailer and comparing it to other things that have come before it, when the reality of the situation is that Zack Snyder isn't looking to make any of those things again. This is something different. If Man of Steel would have taught you one thing, it's that movie, that vision for Superman, that idea of what this universe should look like is nothing like anything you are used to with these characters before. It's its own thing. It's going to play by its own rules, much like the Nolanverse did within itself. And you're going to have to just grab hold of it and ride it out and see how it plays. Because if you're holding on to this safety blanket of what it used to be because of the fact that you didn't like Man of Steel, you're just going to grow to not like this thing. You're going to hate it. It has to be its own thing, and it has to stand on its own. And if it does that, fine. If it doesn't, then just don't go see it. Just look at it and say, not for me. I'll go watch something else. You don't have to like these movies. You don't have to embrace everything that they're putting out there. But I do think when March comes, you should give it a fair shot and not write it off because of what a 30-minute trailer looked like. I'm still interested to see what this movie does. And the story it tells. And how it brings events of Man of Steel full circle into wherever it's going to go from there. Do I think it's a bad trailer? Yes. Do I have problems with what Doomsday looks like? No. Do I have problems with seeing Doomsday? Yes. At least right now. Do I think this is going to be a bad movie? I don't know. Who knows? It's too early to tell. But I don't think that the trailer is reflective of the overall quality of what the film is going to be. So keep that in mind as you look at this, because I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as you've convinced yourself to be based off of 3 minutes. Alright, I want to shift gears a little bit and get into another bit of weirdness. And this has to do with the latest Leonardo DiCaprio film, The Revenant, which comes out later this month. So this just goes to show how people see what they want to see and will craft a narrative around that however they can, and then the outrage will come about after that. So there's a scene in The Revenant. The idea of The Revenant is that Leonardo DiCaprio plays a guy who is kind of helping a group of workers find their way. Okay, they're out in the wilderness. He is he's kind of a frontiersman, and he's helping his hunting team find their way back to safety using the skills that he has. Now, while he's out there, he is mauled by a bear pretty badly. It's an incredible sequence if you get to check out The Revenant. Incredible sequence of Leonardo DiCaprio being mauled by this bear, and is left in pretty bad shape as a result of the bear attack. Now, the Drudge Report, which is a piece of shit outlet to begin with, writes a story where they lay claim to Leonardo DiCaprio's character being sexually assaulted by the bear, describing it as, quote, a shocking scene of a wild bear raping Leo DiCaprio. And many outlets now pick this story up and are running with it, to the point that 20th Century Fox actually has to come out and issue a statement denying that this incident takes place in the film. I have seen The Revenant. I can assure you, there is no sexual assault in the film by a bear. Is there an attempted rape later on at a different point? Yeah. Does it involve a bear? No. Sometimes it amazes me when I sit down to watch a movie that other people have seen, and when we talk about the movie, what happened in it, how the characters operate, it's like we didn't even watch the same thing. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't things that are open to interpretation. I'm not saying that there aren't instances where our own experiences, our own ideas, our own baggage help form how we see a movie. But when it comes to a bear raping a human on screen, I think that's pretty black and white. It's pretty cut and dry. It either happened or it didn't happen. And in the case of The Revenant, didn't happen. Not even close. I mean, maybe I could look at it and say, oh, I can understand where they would be confused. But usually those are the instances where you turn to somebody next to you and you go, did that happen? And they go, no. It's just an attack. And they go, oh, okay. I saw it incorrectly. You don't just go out there and spout it as fact. What is it with these days when people just take their bullshit and they spout it as fact? It's not fact. And please, if you watch The Revenant and you believe that the bear raped Leonardo DiCaprio in the film, please stop watching movies. Definitely stop writing about them. Because clearly you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And you make it difficult and frustrating for the rest of us who do. Who just rub our head facepalm. Saying, I can't believe I have to fucking get into this conversation now about a bear raping Leonardo DiCaprio in a movie where it didn't even happen. So please, just stop. Just stop. The Drudge Report, fuck you too while I'm at it. Alright, let's talk about Indiana Jones. Steven Spielberg was talking to Screen International as of late. And of course, the topic of Indiana Jones came up because Indiana Jones seems to come up quite frequently now, as once again everybody tries to see whether or not we're going to get another Indiana Jones. Now, there's been tons of rumors concerning Indiana Jones that during Bridge of Spies, the promo tour, when Steven Spielberg was doing Q&As, made kind of a joking comment about doing a fifth film with Harrison Ford so that he could go ahead of break his tie with Tom Hanks, but then he would do another one with Tom Hanks and it'd be even and blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't really anything to be taken seriously, but of course people looked at it and they ran with it and they were like, holy shit, Steven Spielberg is going to make another Indiana Jones with Harrison Ford. Then, of course, there were also rumors prior to that there would be no other Indiana Jones film made with Harrison Ford, that Disney, which now owns Indiana Jones, was looking into the idea of recasting though, moving forward with Indiana Jones kind of in this timeless way that James Bond does, since that's how the character was sort of created, as being an American James Bond. But to have somebody younger, Chris Pratt's name, of course, had been circulated as a possibility, and that was one of the other ideas, was to kind of move younger with Indiana Jones, have Indiana Jones still be Indiana Jones, but just have someone else take up the whip and fedora to become Indiana Jones. So Steven Spielberg is asked about the idea of another Indiana Jones, someone else being Indiana Jones. Harrison Ford hanging it up as Indiana Jones. And this is what Spielberg had to say concerning that. He said, quote, I don't think anyone could replace Harrison as Indy. I don't think that's ever going to happen. It's certainly not my intention to ever have another actor step into his shoes in the way that there have been many actors that have played Spider-Man or Batman. There is only going to be one actor playing Indiana Jones, and that's Harrison Ford. Now, I'm sure this was news to the people over at Disney who were like, well, why the fuck do we own this thing then if we're not going to do anything with it? I don't understand why that would be the case. I don't see Indiana Jones sitting on the shelf collecting dust. That's not really how Disney operates. Disney takes these properties, they try to inject new life and take new revenue out of it. You know, they bought Marvel not so they could just sit and let Marvel keep doing what it was doing. They bought Marvel so that they could keep expanding Marvel. They didn't buy Star Wars to just sit on it and collect checks from merchandise and Blu-ray. They bought Star Wars so they could keep making Star Wars. They don't own Indiana Jones to just let Indiana Jones sit there. And here's the deal, like, they're not getting any younger. Spielberg's going to be 69 later this month. Harrison Ford, I think, is 72 or 73. So time working against him. So if they're going to go ahead and make Indiana Jones, they're going to have to kind of get the ball rolling, no pun intended, on making that happen. And it also brings into the idea of, well, where does George Lucas play into this? George Lucas right now has a very sour relationship with Disney following the sale of Star Wars. He was fine to sell it to him. He took their money and, gave it to education, whatever he did with the $4 billion. But I think George Lucas was also very hurt that when he handed in these outlines, these ideas for where the next trilogy should go, based on the fact that, he fucking created them, Disney kind of waved them off and was like, no, we have our own ideas. We're going to go in another direction. Now, were they well within their rights to do that? Sure, they paid a shit ton of money to own Star Wars. They can do whatever the fuck they want with it. But I think he is kind of boo-boo hurt face at how that kind of went down. I think the Michael Arndt script that they were initially working on kind of fed heavily off of a lot of Lucas ideas. And when that script was scrapped in favor of Abrams and Lawrence Kasdan kind of reshuffling and doing things a little bit differently for The Force Awakens, I think George Lucas was really sour on that. That he lost the battle of Star Wars a little bit. So when it comes to Indiana Jones, the Indiana Jones movies are really George Lucas's babies. He's always really been kind of the driving force behind Indiana Jones. Now, it's very much a three-partner setup with Lucas, Spielberg, and Ford heading into Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. They had always said, they're not going to make one unless everybody's on board with it, unless everybody is good with it, unless everybody's happy with where they're going. And granted, look how that turned out. But just remember that Ford is in them as Indiana Jones, but Harrison Ford also kind of just goes where the paycheck goes. Do I think he has a devotion to Indiana Jones and he loves that character? Sure. But as long as the check's clear, he'll make another Indiana Jones. He'll have some say in it, but he'll make it. Spielberg, I think, likes to make these films. I think he likes the people that he makes them with. I think that he's excited about telling these stories. But I don't think he has the investment in them that George Lucas always had. Is he invested in them? Absolutely. Is it on Lucas's level? I don't think so. So it'll be interesting to see how that dynamic comes into play. So Spielberg was also asked, well, why bother? Why would you even bother making another one? Then, if that's the case, if it's just going to be Harrison Ford. And he said, quote, because there are more adventures out there than films. So as long as there's more adventures out there, I've got a bullwhip, a fedora, a leather jacket, and a man on a horse who knows how to get the job done. I absolutely believe that there are worthy, untold stories of Indiana Jones for them still to tell. I just think they're running out of time. And I'm not saying that we need more Indiana Joneses, but would I like another one? I think so. Do I want it with Harrison Ford? I don't know. Last one didn't really work out too well. And look, while I would like for the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull to not be the last taste of Indiana Jones that I have rotting in my mouth, I also don't want another one just for another one's sake. And if that means perhaps restarting, rebooting, getting fresh blood in there, fresh ideas, there are worse things that have happened. You know, you look at something like Star Wars, and George Lucas did those prequels, and the prequels didn't really work for us. But you hand the franchise over to J.J. Abrams, you hand it over to Rian Johnson, you hand it over to Colin Trevorrow, and you get some new blood in there, some new ideas. It feels fresh. Now, what the results are going to be, I don't know. Haven't seen The Force Awakens yet. But there's an energy to it that feels like it had gone away as we move through the prequels. So I don't think that handing over Indiana Jones to someone else is a bad idea. Steven Spielberg did that with Jurassic Park. Let Joe Johnston do Jurassic Park 3, which I think is kind of underrated. I think it gets a bad rap, even though it's a better film than it gets credit for. And did the same thing with Jurassic World. Handed it over to Colin Trevorrow, was still involved. And Jurassic World was a much bigger hit than the other sequels were. So I think there is potential there if you put the right pieces in place to make it work. It's just a matter of finding those right pieces. And I think that's the future of Indiana Jones. I think I'd rather see, maybe Chris Pratt, if that's the direction that you really want to go in. Someone who's excited about doing Indiana Jones, as opposed to keeping Harrison Ford around because he's always been that way, when really he may be over it. He may be just kind of tired of it. He may want to move on and do something else. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is there, but I don't think we've seen the last of Indiana Jones. And I don't think that this series or this franchise is going to just all of a sudden stop, just come to a screeching halt when Harrison Ford is kind of just done. When they finally pull the plug and say, nope, he's retired from doing Indiana Jones. I don't know that day is going to come. I don't know that Indiana Jones is ever going to retire. I think it's going to continue to live on. It's just a matter of how they attack this to get the right pieces in place to move it forward. Will we see one more Ford Spielberg? I don't know. Never say never. But I'm not holding my breath for it to happen either. All right, one more piece before we get out of there. And once again, this also kind of has to do with another Harrison Ford role and Star Wars. Go figure. Chris Miller and Phil Lord are working on casting young Han Solo for that untitled Star Wars movie that they're going to be doing. I believe this is the one that comes out in 2018, so they're going to start shooting it in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. Or is this the one that comes out in 2017? No. Yeah, no, I think it's... No, maybe it does. I don't remember when this one comes out. Either way, it's all... No, I think that's the case. I think it's coming out in 2018. I believe that's the idea. Because Force Awakens is 2015, and 2016 is Rogue One, and 2017, I believe, is that's Episode 8, and then I believe it's young Han Solo. So the the idea is that they're trying to figure out someone to kind of tell these early stories of Han Solo, you know, probably like how he became a smuggler and how he met Chewbacca and all those things. So they're casting this ridiculously wide search to try and find someone to be young Han Solo, essentially young Harrison Ford in many ways. It doesn't have to be a replica. It doesn't have to be mimicking Harrison Ford, but it's going to have to be someone who can pull off kind of the nuances of the character or how people expect the character to be. 2,500 actors have now been seen or auditioned or met with concerning the role. 2,500. And among the names, the more notable names that are out there, and this will show you how wide they are casting. Dave Franco, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Miles Teller, Logan Lerman, Ansel Elgort, Nick Robinson, Leo Howard, Tony Aller, Tom Felton, Jack Rayner, Colton Haynes, Max Theriot, Chandler Riggs, Rami Malek. What do those actors have in common with one another? Absolutely nothing. There is no connective thread that brings any of those together that would help you narrow down what they are looking for in young Han Solo. They are throwing actors at the wall, figuratively, not literally, in the hopes that one or two or three of them will stick, and then they can narrow it down from there. If you have an agent, you have some type of representation, you're probably being looked at to be Han Solo. I have yet to receive my call. Keep checking my phone as we do the show just to see if they're going to get it up to 2,501. But it hasn't happened yet. I don't think I'm right for the part, but I would still meet with them. They're still trying to figure this thing out. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just one of those strange situations where they are combing the desert to find young Han Solo. Will any of those actors fit? Any that I mentioned? Or perhaps you gotta go with somebody else. Perhaps you gotta go with somebody with no baggage. Because the second you bring in somebody who people know or recognize, then you get the comparisons. Just get somebody off the street. Have nothing attached to them. They can have Han Solo be their own thing. I don't know. I don't know what the way to go is. But I do trust in Chris Miller and Phil Lord. They haven't steered me wrong yet. So I believe whoever they choose will be the right choice, will be a fine fit, and we'll move on from there. Good luck to them in finding their scruffy-looking nerf herder moving forward. All right, that's it. That's the show. So thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. Thanks for streaming. Thanks for however it is that you got here. I appreciate it. Make sure you follow the show. Make sure you follow Just the Worst Podcast, period. You can do that on Twitter at JTW Podcast and on Facebook, facebook.com/Just the Worst Podcast. I'm on Twitter as well, so make sure you hit me up there at Infamous Kid. I'll always take all your follows. And Facebook.com/Bully the Kid. That's where you can find me there posting whatever nonsense. comes into my head. All the podcasts are available on SoundCloud, so just hit soundcloud.com, search for Just the Worst Podcast, and you'll come up roses. In the meantime, the URL, all that stuff's getting set up. All the RSS, iTunes, Stitcher feeds still in the works. So I know I keep saying it. We're working on it. Just a little more patience. The holidays have been hectic, so we are getting it up and running sooner rather than later. Once it happens, I'll be happy as a pig of shit, and I'll let you know immediately. So just stay a little bit more patient there. In the meantime, once again, SoundCloud, that's where all the podcasts are. So just track it down there, and you can get them however you want. And using the SoundCloud app, I believe that's how you can get them on your mobile devices. Other than that, that's it. This has been Just the Worst Podcast, episode number 12. I've been your host, Billy Donnelly. Make sure you follow my work at thisisinfamousjoeblow.com, and of course, right here at Just the Worst Podcast. And we'll be back next week, as once again we get deeper and deeper into the holidays for another show and another episode. So thanks for listening. Once again, hope you had a great Thanksgiving. And in the meantime, I'll see you later. I'm out. Peace. Just the Worst Podcast, episode number 12, has been a presentation of Just the Worst Podcast Media.